revealed how a shoeless girl touched a millionaire CEO and triumphed over 25 candidates in a town where faded dreams lingered like wilted flowers. 12-year-old Lily lived in a world defined by rust and struggle. The sidewalks, cracked and worn, echoed the footsteps of her single mother, who worked endlessly to provide. Yet, amidst the decay, Lily's laughter was a sound more precious than gold. She went barefoot, but her heart was shod in compassion. With every smile she offered to her elderly neighbors, she reminded them that hope still existed. The essence of community flowed through her like a river, rich with empathy and purpose. When the annual scholarship contest was announced, it felt like a lifeline. Lily imagined the world beyond broken playgrounds. The promise of education, a chance to escape the cycle of generational poverty. "This is my moment," she whispered to herself. But as she read the names of her competitors' sleek resumes adorned with glossy achievements, anxiety crept in. They were polished, wealthy, and the thought of being judged in her bare feet felt like a mountain too high to climb. As the first challenge loomed, Lily sat before Simon, the self-made millionaire CEO. His dismissive glance at her feet sent a shiver down her spine. Would he ever understand her? But then they began to talk. Her voice trembled at first, but quickly steadied as she spoke of dreams woven from threads of struggle and resilience. The more she shared, the more Simon's icy facade melted, revealing echoes of his own past and the obstacles he had faced. In that moment, an unspoken connection blossomed. Before long, disaster struck. An unexpected storm wreaked havoc across the town, destroying homes and leaving families in despair. Moments after the chaos, as raindrops mingled with tears, Lily sprang into action. She rallied neighbors, organizing a relief effort. The sight of her muddy feet running to help, gathering supplies, brought forth an outpouring of support from those once detached. "Look at her," a neighbor murmured. "She is the heart of this town." Even the competitors, once focused solely on their own ambitions, began to see the facades of privilege fade. They joined her, rediscovering common ground in their shared humanity, echoes of kindness amidst despair. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the storm clouds lifted, something had shifted. Lily found herself standing at the center of a community ignited by hope. This act of selflessness stirred a deep conversation about privilege and the meaning of success. The atmosphere buzzed with revelations, sparking a change that transcended competition. With the climax of the contest approaching, Simon observed the kaleidoscope of emotions surrounding him. What defined success now? As deliberations drew near, Lily stood, heart racing, knowing her journey had already marked a triumph far greater than accolades. Would her story shatter the notion of entitlement in a world often blind to the values of compassion? In that electrifying moment, the air thick with anticipation, the judges began their final discussions. The question loomed, could Lily's unyielding spirit rewrite the very fabric of what it meant to win? As she held her breath, the answer hovered just out of reach, a truth waiting to be unveiled, promising a future ripe with possibility. Lily stood in the center of the room, the walls closing in around her as the judges convened just a few feet away. Their hushed voices murmured like a distant storm. She could feel the weight of their scrutiny, the ambivalence in their expressions. Was it her courage they admired, or was it merely curiosity? Her heart pounded in her chest, each thump resonating through her like a drum echoing courage and vulnerability. The community thrummed with anticipation. Neighbors whispered to one another. She could see the warmth in their eyes flicker with pride, but it was mixed with a worry that clung in the air, a worry that a girl with bare feet might not be enough, even after the storm revealed her to be a fierce beacon of hope. Simon sat at the judge's table, his brow furrowed in thought as he considered the transformation he had witnessed. He remembered the hopeful spark in Lily's eyes when she spoke about her dreams. He had seen something in her that resonated deeply within himself, a mirror reflecting not just the struggles she faced, but the very essence of what he had experienced in his own climb to success. Lily, she embodies a fight for a brighter future, he finally spoke, breaking the silence. The words hung heavy in the air. The other judges exchanged glances, nodding slowly, but uncertainty lingered like the scent of fresh rain on cracked pavement. But Lily was about to shrink back. With a deep breath, she stepped forward, her muddy feet grounding her to the moment. "Winning isn't about how much you have or the accolades you receive," she declared, her voice steady, echoing through the tense room. "It's about the courage to rise when the world brings you to your knees. It's about being a part of something greater. It's about lifting others." Her declaration hung in the air, powerful and raw. The judges leaned in, captured by her passion. For a fleeting heartbeat, even the polished competitors recognized the truth in her words. There was a flicker of understanding, a light that danced in the shadows of their privilege. As the judges began to deliberate, a sense of urgency enveloped Lily. The clock ticked away, each second felt like a lifetime. What if they didn't get it? What if they didn't see her for what she was truly offering? Just when despair began to creep in, she thought of the community that stood behind her, the faces of neighbors lit with hope, willingness, and grit. "I'm here for them, not just myself," she whispered. That realization fueled her spirit. It didn't matter if she won, she had already ignited a change. Suddenly, Simon's voice broke the silence once more. "Sometimes, the greatest victories come from those who bear the weight of the world with love." He paused, glancing at Lily, "and we need to ensure that we cultivate that spirit, not just reward the polished." Before the judges could come to any final conclusions, a loud bang echoed through the community center. The doors flung open, revealing a group of volunteers, muddy and exhausted, yet beaming with determination. "Emily's house is flooded. We need everyone," one shouted, breathless. The urgency brought a collective gasp, and the focus shifted. Here stood the heart of the community, people who had once felt displaced, now bound by a common purpose, drawn together by Lily's leadership. Could her impact reach beyond the contest? In that moment, Lily felt the thrill of possibility swell within her. It wasn't just about winning a scholarship. It was about collective action, community, and the connections made in times of need. "Let us help them," Lily shouted, without hesitation. In an instant, she was moving toward the door, and to her surprise, others followed, competitors, judges, and neighbors alike, all shedding the weight of judgment and expectation in favor of unity. As they rushed to the scene, Simon remained behind, contemplating the revelation unfolding before him. Could he truly foster a change that would alter the perception of success? Would he choose to champion a different kind of winner? And as Lily led the charge toward her neighbors, her bare feet pressing against the soaked ground, she turned back for just a moment, hoping for a glimpse of understanding in Simon's eyes. Would he step forward into this new vision of success alongside her? The future buzzed with potential as they raced toward a common goal, leaving behind uncertainty but what lay ahead in this new journey. Lily's feet squelched in the mud as she sprinted toward Emily's house. The chaos of the moment invigorated her. This was where she belonged, among friends, neighbors, and people who needed help, not accolades. She felt the damp earth bend beneath her, each step a reminder of the battle they all faced together. Behind her, the judges and competitors spilled out of the community center like a rush of energy, their earlier doubts washed away in the collective urgency. Simon jogged to catch up, his mind racing with the shift he had just witnessed. The very essence of competition had transformed into something far more profound. As they approached Emily's house, the scene unfolded in front of them like a tragic mural, floodwaters curling around the base of the small home, toys and furniture swallowed by the muddy tide. Panic and determination mixed in the air, palpable as they slowed to assess the situation. "Everyone, grab what you can," Lily called out, raising her hands with newfound authority. "Let us lift it out before it's too late." The crowd responded, breaking into smaller groups, each person instinctively taking on roles as if rehearsed in a play. They worked tirelessly, carrying belongings to safety, photos, clothes, and cherished items swept up in the flood's fury. Simon found a space among the volunteers, his heart swelling with admiration for Lily and the community she rallied. He worked alongside a rival contestant, a girl he once viewed with contempt, but now they waded through the mire together, laughing and talking as they handed items to one another. The transformation was startling. In the midst of the mayhem, Lily's voice rang out over the noise, "Remember, we can clean up, we'll come back stronger. Together." Her optimism felt contagious, infusing the crowd with a renewed sense of purpose. Her spirit shone brighter than the sun breaking through the clouds, dispelling doubt and pulling everyone toward a common goal. Hours seemed to slip away as they worked, laughter intermingled with shouts and the occasional stumble. Lily felt the weight of exhaustion settle in her bones, but with every item lifted to safety, hope soared. The muddy ground beneath her mirrored the struggles of her community, yet in each effort, they found their strength. When the last of Emily's belongings were salvaged, a cheer erupted. They rallied around Emily, embracing her with a support that wasn't just about her lost possessions but about a community rising together from the water. Swollen hearts echoed with gratitude, and relief washed over everyone like a cooling breeze. Simon stepped closer to Lily, drawn to her energy. "You've ignited something here that goes beyond any award," he said, his voice serious yet warm. "Winning doesn't define you. It's moments like this, the choices you make, that reveal who you truly are." Lily met his gaze, the weight of his words wrapping around her like a warm blanket. A moment passed, filled with unspoken understanding. It wasn't about being a contestant anymore. It was about how they could grow together, how to redefine success. But just then, with the sun dipping low on the horizon, a distant siren wailed. A truck approached, sirens blaring, beads of worry danced anew in the people's eyes. What now? Lily thought, as the crowd began to wonder if the storm had left them with more challenges still lurking ahead. With a sense of urgency echoing in her chest, she turned to face the approaching sound, ready to face whatever came next. They had already stepped out of their comfort zone, but this was truly uncharted territory. What awaited them beyond this moment? Lily felt the grip of uncertainty again, but this time, it fueled her spirit. The future was unknown, but she wouldn't face it alone. As the truck rolled to a stop, the true test of their united strength began to unfold. Would they continue to rise together, or would the storm's aftermath pull them apart? The truck's doors swung open, revealing a group of emergency responders clad in bright uniforms. They rushed out, their expressions serious but determined. The atmosphere crackled with tension as Lily and the others instinctively shifted to make space. "Is anyone injured?" one of the responders shouted, quickly cutting through the chaos. Lily's heart raced. Was someone in need of immediate help? She took a step forward, scanning the crowd for worried faces, trying to assess the situation. "We're okay. Just trying to save what we can," a voice called from the back. It was Emily, standing strong despite the remnants of panic in her eyes. The responders nodded, but Lily could see they were on a mission. "All right. We need to set up a staging area," the leader barked, taking charge. "We'll help assess damage and distribute supplies and aid. Keep calm, please." Lily exchanged glances with Simon, who stepped close to her. "This feels different. Like they're expecting more to come." His voice was tense, almost a whisper. Lily's stomach twisted. More flooding? More chaos? But before she could voice her fear, another siren echoed in the distance, followed by the familiar sound of rushing water. The responders sprang into action, but Lily stayed rooted in place, a wave of uncertainty crashing over her. "Lily, we need to get organized." Simon pulled her back to the present. "Right," she replied, shaking off her worries. "We can create a supply line. Water, food, whatever they need. Let us get people sorted." With purpose, she turned back to the crowd, rallying the volunteers once more. "Okay, everyone. We need to gather supplies. Let us form lines and work together." The crowd began to move as they joined forces with the responders. But in the frantic energy of the moment, Lily noticed a small girl, no older than 7, standing aside, her eyes wide and vacant. The little one was soaked, mud creeping up her legs, clutching a ragged teddy bear that was barely recognizable. Lily's heart broke for her. She knelt, meeting the girl's gaze. "Hey there, sweetie. What's your name?" "Clara." The little girl's voice trembled. "Clara, I promise we're going to help. You're safe now." Lily took off her jacket, wrapping it around Clara's shoulders. The girl blinked up at her, surprised but grateful. Just then, Emily appeared beside them, having overheard their exchange. "Let us get her somewhere dry. Clara, do you want some hot chocolate? It'll make you feel better." Clara's eyes lit up, though her cheeks were flushed from the cold. "Yes, please." Lily smiled, feeling a spark of hope. "All right, let us find you some hot chocolate then." As they led Clara toward the makeshift staging area, the distant sounds of chaos faded. Lily glanced back at Simon, who appeared impressed. It was moments like this that reminded her of the strength hidden within community ties. But then another shout rang through the air, disrupting their moment of calm. "We need volunteers to help evacuate the flooded homes on Elm Street. It's going to get worse." Lily's heart sank. Restoration would require more than just lifting debris. It called for courage and resilience. She turned back to Clara, who had already begun to brighten at the thought of hot chocolate. "Clara, how about you stay with Emily? We need to help others, okay?" The girl nodded, more willing to smile now, reassured by their warmth. As Lily joined the throng, a feeling pulsed through her, stronger than before. This was their moment to shine. They had already shown they could overcome small battles together. What could they do against this next challenge? As she reached the edge of the crowd, the sun dipping lower against the horizon, she realized that every step forward was not just about recovering what was lost, it was about creating something new. With the storm still looming, the team was ready to face whatever tidal wave came next. But would the community hold strong under the pressure? With hearts united they would rise, but how would the world view their fight? The question lingered in the air, heavy with anticipation. The command echoed from the loudspeaker again, urgency hanging in the air like a charged storm cloud. "We need more hands on Elm Street. Now!" Lily felt a chill at the back of her neck. Each call for help widened the chasm in her heart, reminding her of the looming challenges. She glanced back at Emily and Clara, who were just a few paces behind. They looked ready, even in their own uncertainty. The thought of leaving Clara made her hesitate, but she knew she had to move. "Let us go," she urged Simon, who nodded resolutely. As they pushed forward, the sight of the damage struck her like a physical blow. Blocks of homes were partially submerged, water lapping at the door frames. A group of neighbors huddled on a dry patch, panic etched on their faces. Lily took a deep breath. This was bigger than she had anticipated. They reached Elm Street, where the water surged angrily, threatening to swallow anything it touched. The responders were already on site, some wading through the muck, others delivering supplies to those stranded. Lily jumped in, breaking through the anxiety that threatened to engulf her. "Let us form a human chain," she shouted, rallying nearby volunteers. "We can pass supplies down. Keep the flow moving." Inspired by her energy, people surged forward, forming a line from the truck to the nearest home. Lily took a position in the link, moving quickly, passing boxes of non-perishables, blankets, anything that could provide comfort. The adrenaline coursed through her, bolstering her resolve. Amid the chaos, a woman emerged from the water, her clothes soaked and heavy, clutching a crying baby close to her chest. The crowd halted, stunned. "Help! We need help!" Her voice cut sharply through the panic. Without thinking, Lily sprinted toward her. "I'm here!" she called out, stretching her hands to take the child. "You're all right. I've got you." The mother handed her the baby, an infant with wide eyes filled with fear. Lily instinctively cradled the small body, feeling the warmth and the fragile heartbeat. In that moment, nothing else mattered. "Get her to safety," Simon shouted, moving to guide the mother away from the rising waters. Lily nodded. She held the baby close, feeling the overwhelming responsibility fall on her shoulders. The weight of the moment pressed deep into her chest, demanding action. She turned back toward the makeshift staging area, her heart racing as she took each step cautiously, ensuring the little one was secure. People parted like waves in the sea, creating a path for them. As they reached safety, a cheer rose from the crowd, a gust of hope lifting spirits. But the urgency remained, they weren't done yet. Lily gently handed the baby back to its mother, who was now visibly shaken but grateful. "Thank you," the woman whispered, eyes brimming with tears. Before she could respond, the sound of a deep rumble echoed through the air, more forceful than before. The ground beneath them trembled slightly, and the last rays of sunlight disappeared behind thick clouds rolling in rapidly. A voice from the staging area boomed, "We have reports of another wave coming. We need to evacuate everyone now." Panic erupted, the people near her exchanging fearful glances. Lily's heart sank again. The storm was no ordinary storm. They had to make decisions quickly. The weight of despair hung heavy on her, yet beneath it, a flicker of determination ignited. This was not just about survival. It was about standing together. "Everyone, we need to move!" she shouted, feeling the unity swell within her. "Grab what you can, and let us go!" As they shuffled toward relative safety, Lily felt the pulse of the community around her: fear, determination, bravery. They were a force of nature themselves, ready to face whatever storm lay ahead. But just then, she caught sight of Clara again, anxiously searching for her. The crowd surged, but Lily's eyes locked onto the small girl. Would she reach her in time? The uncertainty hung in the air, ready to dissolve into chaos. With her heart racing, Lily took a step forward, determined to forge ahead. But what awaited them as the storm closed in? The chaos swirled like a tempest around Lily as she fought her way through the crowd, determination propelling her forward. Clara's wide, frightened eyes searched for her through the deluge of bodies, and each passing second felt like an eternity. The ground shook beneath them, a palpable reminder of the elements that threatened to tear them apart. "Clara!" Lily shouted, her voice straining to rise above the clamor. She pushed through, feeling the weight of her own fear intertwine with the desperation in her heart. Every fearful glance from the people around her mirrored her own worries. Finally, she spotted Clara just a few feet away, standing frozen, the uncertainty etched on her tiny face. Relief flooded Lily's veins, and she moved swiftly, almost tripping in the mud but catching herself just in time. "I'm here, sweetheart. Come on, we have to go." Clara's face broke into a hesitant smile upon seeing her, but it faded almost instantly. The little girl was trembling, not from the cold but from fear of the unknown. "What if we get lost?" she asked, her voice shaking. Lily knelt to her eye level, urgency built into every fiber of her being. "We won't get lost. Just stick close to me. I promise." She took Clara's small hand, squeezing it tight as they began to move through the thrumming crowd. Around them, the atmosphere was charged with a sense of impending doom. Desperate shouts mingled with the roar of the rising waters. As they navigated the throngs of people, Lily's mind raced. They weren't just fighting the storm, they were fighting for every single soul trapped in the raging flood. "Over here!" Simon's voice rang out, directing them toward a sturdy old church that loomed above them like a fortress. The once silent surroundings transformed into a cacophony of urgency. People were funneling toward its open doors, a beacon of hope amid the despair. Just as they reached the entrance, a loud crack echoed, and the ground trembled again. The sound drew gasps from the crowd. "Hurry!" Lily urged, propelling Clara ahead of her inside. Inside, the church was packed. Families clung to one another, eyes wide with fear, whispers of uncertainty rippling through the mass. Lily scanned the room, her heart pounding. Would everyone fit? Were there enough supplies? Clara tugged on her sleeve. "Mommy," she whispered, a tremor in her voice. Lily's heart twisted painfully. "I know, honey. We'll be all right," she assured her, though a twinge of doubt flickered within her. "Just hold tight." Before she could gather her thoughts, the sound of shattering glass erupted from outside, mingled with anguished cries. Fear swept through the crowd like wildfire. What's happening? Someone yelled. Simon stepped toward the entrance, the adrenaline coursing through him like a lifeline. We have to secure the doors. If another wave hits, they'll break through. Lily's eyes darted to Clara, who stood rooted to the spot. Stay close, she cautioned, not wanting to let go of her hand even for a moment. Together, they joined Simon and several others, scrambling to help barricade the entrance with tables, chairs, anything solid. As they worked, the entire building shook with another wave crashing down outside. Panic surged again, faces filled with dread. Among the noise and chaos, Lily felt Clara clutch her tighter, her small fingers digging into her side. We can't lose anyone, Lily shouted, her voice breaking. We're all in this together. Remember that, please. The crowd fell silent for a heartbeat, lifted by a fragile thread of solidarity. Lily could see the flickers of resolve igniting in people's eyes. They weren't just scared, they were ready to fight. And so was she. With fear still coiling in her heart, but a new determination growing, Lily turned back to Clara. Just then, the ground shook again, and the lights flickered ominously. She held Clara tight, both of them staring into the unknown together. What's next? Clara whispered, her eyes wide with innocence and courage. And in that moment, Lily realized this wasn't just her fight. This was a fight for every single beautiful soul within those walls, young, old, broken, strong. They had to survive, together. But as the next wave crashed down upon them, would they truly be ready for what was coming? The air inside the church felt electric, charged with apprehension and determination. The sound of heavy rain beat relentlessly against the roof, punctuating the tense silence that had settled over the crowd. Lily held Clara close, her heart racing as she glanced around at the faces illuminated in the dim light. Fear was palpable, but so was courage. Mommy, will we be okay? Clara's voice trembled again, breaking the quiet chaos that had engulfed them. Of course, love. Just stay with me, Lily whispered, trying to infuse her words with the strength she didn't entirely feel. She stroked Clara's hair, hoping to convey a calm she was desperately trying to muster herself. Beyond the barricaded doors, shouts grew, anxiety echoing through the crowd. The reality of the situation pressed heavily on Lily's shoulders. Were they truly safe in this sanctuary, or was it just a temporary refuge? Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from outside, sounding like the world collapsing. Gasps erupted from the group. Lily exchanged worried glances with Simon, who stood at the front, ready to intervene. They didn't have time to think action was necessary. Everyone, listen! Simon's voice boomed, demanding attention. We need to stay focused. Gather as much supplies as you can find. Water, food, blankets. If we're going to survive this, we need to be prepared. The urgency in his tone spurred the crowd into motion. People scrambled into action, and Lily felt Clara's grip tighten even more around her hand. Let's go together, she said, pulling her daughter along with her as they joined another group rummaging for anything useful. They searched through forgotten bags and tossed items, anger and fear flashing in the eyes of some, while others were strangely calm, as if accepting the fate that lay ahead. Look, Mommy! Clara exclaimed, holding up a tattered old teddy bear she had found, its fur matted and damp. Lily's heart ached. To Clara, that bear symbolized safety, a remnant of childhood amidst the fear encasing them. That's a great find, sweetheart, she smiled, though it was bittersweet. Clara hugged it tightly to her chest, a small gesture of comfort amidst the chaos. As the minutes dragged on, the noise outside grew more intense. Crashing waves against the church walls joined the screaming winds as the storm raged, and the ground trembled with each new assault. With every tremor, more doubt crept into Lily's mind. Clara, stay very close to me, she said, her voice low and serious. Clara nodded, eyes darting to the door as another sound shook the entryway. The barricades they might not hold, someone muttered from behind. A ripple of fear swept through the group as they exchanged worried glances. Simon turned to face them once more. We have to stick together. Remember the people we care about. We can't give up. We have to believe we're going to make it. Lily felt a flicker of determination from Simon's words. She squeezed her daughter's hand. We're going to be okay, Clara. Just keep holding on to me, she said, her voice strained yet emphatic. In an instant, another violent shake rattled the church, knocking over tables and sending people sprawling. Clara cried out, pulling away in fear. Lily instinctively reached out to gather her back into her arms, but someone was blocking her way. A man stumbled to the front, breathless and wild-eyed. We're running out of time. We need to get out of here, he shouted, urgency lacing his voice. The crowd erupted into chaos, voices overlapping, panic overtaking the moment. Lily felt Clara cling to her leg, still frightened yet yearning for security. Without our faith in each other, we'll be lost, Lily yelled, cutting through the race of loud voices as she fought against the current of panic. Don't let fear drive us apart. But as the crowd began to surge toward the doors, desperate to escape, Lily couldn't shake the feeling that their worst fears were just moments away from reality. Could they really navigate the storm together, or was it too late? A deafening roar filled the room, drowning out all else, and the barricades shuddered under the immense pressure. Lily grasped Clara tighter as she braced for whatever lay ahead. But just then, amid the terrifying noise, a sudden crash echoed above them, and the roof began to splinter. What would fall next? Would they be ready to face it? The splintering sound cut through the chaos, sharp and unnerving. Dust rained down like confetti at a funeral, and the crowd gasped in unison. They instinctively recoiled, a collective breath held tightly in throats, waiting for the inevitable crash. Lily could feel Clara's heart thudding against her, a tiny drum echoing her own. Stay close, she shouted, her voice barely cutting through the cacophony. Clara, wide-eyed and trembling, clutched the teddy bear as if it could shield her from the storm around them. Debris fell around them, large chunks of wood and old plaster breaking away from the ceiling. Simon shouted again, trying to rally the group, but his words were muted by the overwhelming noise. We need to clear out, he called. Back away from the front. A few people hesitated, eyes fixed on the door, a mix of terror and hope reflected in their expressions. Simon, no! We can't just abandon our safe spot, shouted someone behind them, their voice laced with fear. The panic exploded again, each person wrestling with their own internal struggles. It's their lives against the chaos. Every decision would tip the balance. Lily took a deep breath, forcing herself to think clearly. We need to trust each other, she yelled, pushing back against the tide of fear. If we don't work together, we're lost. Even as she spoke, doubt clawed at her confidence. Her heart was heavy, the weight of uncertainty pressing down on her. Suddenly, a loud bang rippled through the church as another section of the roof collapsed, causing many to stumble backward. A cry rang out from the back, and Lily turned just in time to see Simon fall, an intense look of shock on his face as he disappeared beneath the rubble. No! Lily's heart dropped. The crowd screamed, and a few rushed forward to help, but fear rooted them in place. She glanced down at Clara, who was pale and wide-eyed. Mommy, what do we do? Clara whispered, clutching her bear tighter. The answer hit Lily like a lightning bolt. We get everyone out. She felt a surge of urgency. We have to stay together. We can't leave anyone behind. Lily tore away from the clump of people and pushed toward the sounds of panic. Help me! We need to lift this off him, she shouted to the nearest people around. They hesitated but quickly forged a path. With trembling hands they began to move the debris that pinned Simon. It was heavy, and desperation fueled their efforts. Sweat beaded on her brow, mixing with the dust and tears that had begun to flow. Keep going, Lily urged, her voice powerful in the storm, her heart thundering in her chest. We can't stop. Simon needs us. As they finally shifted enough rubble to free him, Simon gasped for air, his face smeared with dirt and shock. Thank you, he choked out, collapsing into the arms of those nearest him. Lily felt a rush of relief, but it was short-lived as another tremor shook the foundation of the church. With renewed resolve, they all looked at one another, eyes blazing with determination. "That's it, we're moving!" Lily declared, her voice rising above the din. "To the back. To the side exits. Stay together." One by one, the frightened strangers began to form a line, steadying each other's nerves. Clara breathed heavily by her side, comforted somewhat by the sense of purpose. As they wound their way through the chaos, Lily kept a tight hold on her daughter's hand. Suddenly, a furious wind blasted through the open door, barreling past them like a freight train. The feeling was surreal, an unstoppable force of nature. They were nearly at the exit when a resounding crash echoed like thunder, and the doorframe began to splinter under the pressure. "Run!" Lily yelled, pushing Clara ahead. But as she glanced back to see the rest behind her, she realized they weren't all moving fast enough. Some were crying. Others were frozen in fear. She hesitated for a split second, terror gripping her. "Clara!" she shouted, rushing back toward the frightened group. Time seemed to slow. They couldn't let fear win. Before she could reach them, the door gave way entirely, and the storm surged in, almost as if it could swallow them whole. What would happen to them now? Would they find safety in the storm's grasp, or be lost forever? The moment the door burst open, chaos erupted like a volcano. Wind tore through the building, scattering dust and debris, and with it, the icy grip of fear held tight on everyone's heart. Lily fought against the pull of panic clawing at her mind. Clara's small hand nearly slipped from her grip as the gale whooshed by. "Clara, hold on!" she shouted, squeezing her daughter's hand tighter. Every voice in the crowd became a blur, muffled under the roar of the storm. She could see faces filled with pure terror. People were stumbling, searching for a sturdy place to stand. Lily took a deep breath, forcing herself to focus. They had to keep moving. Frankly, it was now or never. "This way!" she shouted, ushering Clara down a narrow corridor, hoping it would lead them to safety. As she led the way, thoughts raced through her mind. The storm outside? It was nothing compared to the storms they faced inside this church: fear, despair, uncertainty. Each step was filled with purpose, her wild, protective instinct kicking into overdrive. But Clara stopped, her wide eyes locked on something behind them. "Mommy!" she cried. "What about everyone else?" Lily hesitated. They had broken away from the group, the torrent of wind pulling them in one direction, but a nagging sense of guilt tugged at her heart. "We can't leave them!" she cried, torn between protecting her daughter and taking responsibility for those left behind. "Please!" Clara's voice shook. "I don't want anyone to get hurt." With a surge of determination, Lily turned back and motioned for Clara to follow her. "We can help them. We won't leave anyone behind." They raced back toward the main area, dodging debris and fallen furniture. Clusters of terrified faces looked up as Lily pushed through. "Everyone! We need to form a line! Grab onto each other!" she shouted, rallying them like a general calling troops into formation. The people, still lost in their fear, began to respond to her urgency. One by one, they stepped forward, some grabbing each other's arms tightly. Lily couldn't help but feel a flicker of hope as they formed a chain, everyone relying on the other, united against the chaos. "On 3. She counted down, glancing behind her at the wall of wind and debris. 1, 2, 3. They surged forward as a collective group. Each step felt like they were part of something bigger, an army of survivors. Lily's heart pounded as they approached the splintered doorway. Sweat dripped down her face, mixing with tears she hadn't even realized she was shedding. They were so close. "Keep moving," she urged, pushing Clara slightly ahead. She had to protect her above all else. But just as they reached the threshold, a deafening crack rang out. She looked up to see a massive beam above them begin to buckle. Her stomach dropped. "Everyone move!" she shouted, pushing Clara forward. A group of 3 seniors just couldn't make it, eyes wide and feet rooted to the ground. "Help!" one of them cried as rubble began to fall. Time twisted around Lily. Every second felt like an eternity. She had to choose. Clara, go! She directed, determined her daughter wouldn't see what was about to happen. Mommy, no! Clara screamed, unwilling to leave her side. The insistent sound of crunching wood snapped Lily back to reality. She couldn't let fear dictate their fate. I won't let anything happen to you. Her voice trembled, but she forced herself to remain strong. Determined, she reached back for the seniors, grasping their hands firmly. I've got you! Just hold on. Before she knew it, the beam began to splinter, a searing crack threatening to send everything crashing down around them. But there was a flicker of unwavering strength, a whisper in the storm that told her they could make it. They just had to believe. Would they escape together or be lost forever in the debris? As she pulled the terrified seniors closer, the ground trembled beneath them, and she felt the unmistakable shift of destiny hanging in the air. The choice was theirs, but could they embrace it in time? The beam cracked with a ferocity that echoed the struggle within Lily's heart. She pulled on the hands of the seniors, desperately dragging them closer as the ground shook violently. On 3! She shouted, and the voices around her rushed back to life. The noise was relentless, the storm a furious monster outside their fragile barricade, but they were determined not to be its victims. 1. The group huddled closer, each person inching forward, seeking safety in unity. 2. Clara remained beside her, eyes wide, tears glistening, holding tightly onto the tattered bear. Lily wanted nothing more than to shield her from this nightmare. 3. With one final push, everyone surged forward, crashing through the doorway and into the chaos. Outside, the storm roared like an angry beast, but the grip of fear began to release its hold. They dived into the swirling winds, fighting against the elements, navigating a world primed for destruction. Debris flew as they sprinted, bodies colliding, chaotic and profound, hands grasping hands, hearts beating as one. Lily led them with a fierce resolve, urging everyone onward. Stay close. Don't let go. They stumbled together, young and old, each panting breath a testament to their spirit. Suddenly, the ground buckled beneath them, shifting dangerously. The church groaned as if acknowledging its fragility. Keep going! Simon shouted, weaving his way to Lily's side. We have to find higher ground. Lily nodded, digging deep within herself. They broke left, pushing through the deluge of rain and wind, searching for hope amid despair. Then, in the distance, she spotted the school, a strong structure that had stood for generations. There! We can take shelter there! She shouted, pointing toward the building towering above. A chorus of yes responded, lifting spirits like a sudden spark of warmth in the storm. They surged forward, every step resonating with purpose, but just as they turned a corner, another wave of water crashed toward them. With no time to waste, Simon seized the opportunity, shouting one last rallying cry. Form a line, and lift each other up. Lily's heart soared with admiration as people quickened their pace. The fear in their eyes transformed into determination, resilience blooming at the center of chaos. Clara fell in step beside her, and Lily dared to hope. Together. They could do this together. They reached the school, a bastion against despair, and barricaded the doors as they stumbled inside, breathless and alive. The sounds of the storm gradually muted, a low roar replaced by cries of relief. The school was dimly lit, yet it was filled with a renewed sense of community. Volunteers were already organizing supplies, creating makeshift shelters for those in need. Look! Clara said, tugging at Lily's sleeve, pointing excitedly toward a gathering of children, their spirits revitalized by the presence of safety. They're playing. Lily smiled, her heart swelling with gratitude. Yes, they are. She felt the warmth of hope radiate through her. Spotting a makeshift aid station, she immediately joined the throng of volunteers. What do you need me to do? She asked without hesitation. No time to revel in their victory. Now was the moment to channel the strength they had built together. Simon approached, wiping sweat from his brow. Help organize supplies. We need to distribute food and blankets to everyone who made it out. Together, they moved swiftly and efficiently, dividing supplies and setting aside provisions for those still in need. Lily's heart danced with every moment of service, her worries ebbing away as joy nestled within her. In the corner of the bustling room, she caught sight of the seniors they had helped. One of them, a woman with kind eyes, approached Lily. "Thank you for saving us," she said softly, tears glimmering in her eyes. "You are our hero." Lily shrugged, humility washing over her. "We all helped. We're stronger when we come together," she replied, glancing at the growing group of individuals, neighbors, friends, and competitors who had become more than just acquaintances. Through this ordeal, moments turned to hours, and through it all, laughter mingled with the aid efforts. Clara found her group of friends, sharing stories and meticulously tying the last strings of normalcy, even when the storm outside raged on. As the night deepened, Lily stood with Simon at the window, watching the clouds slowly drift apart, revealing scattered stars like scattered promises across the sky. "Maybe this storm was meant to show us what we're capable of," he mused, clearly introspective. Lily nodded, feeling the warmth of acceptance fill her heart. "It's like we're finally awake. We're not just individuals fighting for survival, we're a community. And we can keep growing." He smiled, a look of hope transforming the features of a man who once measured success in walls and wealth. "Let us make sure we remember this. Let us take this newfound strength forward." With a smile, Lily responded, "Yes." Together, they stood there, unified, and from that moment on, Lily's heart pulsed with the rhythm of something greater than herself. The storm had taken many things away, but it had forged something new, a bond, a family, a promise. As they began to share stories, every word laced with heartfelt emotion, a realization dawned within the cozy chaos of the schoolhouse. They were victorious, not just over the storm, but over the limitations they had once felt. And as one by one, the townsfolk began to share their fears and dreams, Lily felt her own spirit soar higher than she ever imagined. The world lay before them, ripe with possibility, a reflection of their strength. She knew that no matter what storms crept around the corner, together they would rise above. As that thought settled deep within her heart, she whispered a silent prayer for tomorrow, ready to embrace whatever came next. And as the laughter of her community enveloped her like a warm embrace, she realized the truth. They weren't just surviving, they were living. They were family. So, don't wait not even one more second. Hit that subscribe button immediately to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. It makes all the difference. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this ending. And share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to witness this transformation. You need to support us and show your love. This is the moment to take action.